What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon, NBA DFS video. It is Tuesday. It is December 5th, and we are back with another video. So, what do we have here? We have another two-game slate we're going to talk about. Anytime we have at least 5 games, that's when we'll have this article, which you see on the screen. That's when we'll have 3 top, 3 mid, and 3 value picks at each position. But with only 2 games, there's a very limited player pool. So we're going to go over them. We're going to look at pretty much our projections, basically top 5-ish players at each position. Obviously, some of these players have multi-position eligibility, which we've talked about in the past. And this is the kind of slate where you're going to have to kind of get creative because, like, the center position doesn't have the best options there. We do have some power forward center position players where we could play both. But again, probably play lightly. Just kind of what we saw yesterday. Teams playing teams, beating teams that we didn't think would. Pace of play was different. It is a tournament. If you watched the Indy game, it is a tournament atmosphere. So it felt like the postseason. So some things are a little bit different than the other things. So it was exciting. We just don't have a ton of player pool to differentiate. If you looked, most likely if you go back, if you played yesterday and you look at your like the top places in whatever tournament or whatever you played yesterday, probably split between quite a few. There's just not a lot of differentiation there unless they somehow found a min price player who absolutely went off. So we've got 2 games today. We're going to go over the Vegas odds. We're going to go over the points allowed by position. We have simulations already there. We have it all. So we hit 42 likes on yesterday's video. Now, anytime you like this video, leave a comment, we get at least 50 likes, you have a chance to win a free week of DFS content. That includes NBA, NFL as well. Anytime a video gets at least 100 likes, you have a chance to win a free month of DFS content. 125 likes is a chance to win a free year. And anytime any of our videos get 150 or more likes, you leave a comment, you are a subscriber to our YouTube page, you have a chance to win a lifetime pass, normally worth $4.99. All you got to do is get it to 150 likes. So that being said, we are trying some new things. We threw out the NBA stuff. I'm already working on an NFL. Like for the NFL, we've already got, I'm waiting on all the stats to come in for the volume report. Snap counts are in, red zone stats are in, points allowed by position are in, Vegas odds early are in. We've got a lot going on. We have a very terrible Thursday night football game, and then we have a doubleheader on Monday Night Football, which I'm not really sure why, but we've got that. So we're moving forward. Sadly, we've only got 5 more weeks of NFL for the regular season anyway. It is approaching quick. It is very sad. Love NFL, but once we get done with NFL, we focus on NBA, and then MLB will be here before we know it. And you guys, I know, are just as excited as me because when we are back with MLB, those are where we break down the best for you. 45-minute videos a day give you everything you need. So that being said, let's look at the Vegas odds real quick. Again, 2 games, not a lot. You got the Lakers at the Suns. I still don't know how any Laker team lately is a favorite, but currently right now, they opened as a 2-point favorite. They are 1.5 point. We've got an over-under of 227.5 over-under. It has gone up 4 points on the over-under right now. Then we've got the Bucks versus the Knicks. The Bucks are a 4.5 point favorite, 225.5 over-under. Opened as a 6-point favorite, has gone down a little bit to 4.5. So we will look at this. We will monitor. This will probably be updated about 2-3 hours before tip-off. If anything has changed, this will be done. And then we can look at this. So we'll look at this after we go through the play. So help me out in this video. Hit the like button. Click on the ads because every little bit helps. Every time you click an ad, I know they're annoying. It helps out the channel immensely. Also, anyone watching, I've been thinking about making a second channel and streaming games and putting out some content like that. If that's something you guys would be interested in, it's obviously way different than what I do here. But I play a lot of Warzone, a lot of Call of Duty. GTA, once GTA 6 comes out, if you guys are still around in 2025. Very excited for GTA. Just a lot of stuff coming forward. If you have questions, would love to know. But let me know. Would you guys watch that kind of content? Would you support that kind of content? But looking at this, let's dig into each position. Some of these players are questionable. Depending when you watch this video, maybe they've already been ruled out. Maybe they've been ruled in. Some are game time decisions. Some are probable. So this is definitely something to monitor. These are initial. What these are these are initial rank or projections. So can change a little bit. Well, some value might open up with only 2 games. There's not a ton of value right now unless some of the top guys are ruled out later on. So we'll look at it. So looking at point guard, you got Devin Booker at the top at 50 fantasy points. We got Damian Lillard at 45, Jalen Brunson 40 fantasy points, D'Angelo Russell 32, and Emmanuel Quickley 25. Now at the end of this video, I'll kind of explain where we get the projections and how we go about getting those projections. Moving to shooting guard, and again, as you can see, compared to like a normal, like tomorrow's slate's huge. A normal slate, 29 fantasy points out of Austin Reeves is our top shooting guard right now. Now, this doesn't take into effect like multi-position eligibility where, like a Jalen Brunson's at 40, maybe he's power forward, maybe he's shooting guard combined. Like, these are just one position. Obviously, these will be updated when we have our chalk. These will be updated with simulations and stuff like that. But you can see it's really like another down day where the top shooting guard at the moment, not even 30 fantasy point projection. We got Chris Middleton at 28 fantasy points. We got Eric Gordon at 28. We've got Malik Beasley at 28. And then we drop down. We've got Grayson Allen at 26. We drop down even more. Cam Reddish at 22 fantasy points. Moving on to small forward, we've got LeBron James at 44. I remember when LeBron used to be projected at 50, 60. Like, he's old. I get that. It's just sad to see. You got you drop from 44 down to RJ Barrett at 29. Then we got Josh Hart at 25, Taurean Prince at 22, and Josh Okogie at 21 fantasy points. So it is bleak out there, everybody. This will be one where I make multiple lineups a night usually, probably 1 or 2 lineups, and that's about it. Moving to the power forward, my favorite play, it's obviously he's the most expensive on the slate. He's projected high, and we'll look at it. Antetokounmpo here at 55 fantasy points. Drop down to Anthony Davis, who's questionable. Most likely he'll play at 48. Kevin Durant, 47. Julius Randle, 41. And Bobby Portis at 27. Then, like I said, bleak, center position. Yusuf Nurkic, 34 fantasy points. Brook Lopez, 31. Mitchell Robinson, 26. Isaiah Hartenson at 20. And Drew Eubanks at 19. So, like I've said, you can see when you have players like this, like Antetokounmpo, who is both power forward and center, so you can have both. That would mean 55. If you play him at center position, he is obviously the highest projected center on the slate by 21 fantasy points at the moment. So it's just, you're going to have to be a little bit creative when building your lineups and on a small slate like this. So just kind of looking at that. Like I said, if you play on DraftKings, if you play on Fanduel, we have this tool here. If you go to FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, hover over NBA, our simulations are already done. The fantasy points allowed by positions done. Vegas odds are done. Our top plays are done, which takes FanDuel and DraftKings, takes implied team totals, and takes players via DVP, which is defense versus position. So it's kind of like BVP, batter versus pitcher in MLB. That's what we've got here. So that being said, you can check it out. We will have a lot going on over there. But you can see, like, if you just look, and this is the good thing. So if you come here, if you come and you go down to fantasy points allowed by position, and then you pop this up, you can then sort it by the teams that are playing today. And then you can kind of get a feel for what we've got going on. And, it's another tool in your tool belt when you're building DFS lineups. That is why Fantasy Team Advisors is here. We are trying to make you a better DFS player. We are not just selling you lineups. We are trying to make you a better DFS player. Do we have lineups? Yes, they are a great starting point, but we have a ton of tools to make you the best DFS player we possibly can. So this article right here is in the description of the video. If you could click it, that would be awesome. But let's just see if we can build. And this is not necessarily a lineup we're gonna go with. But I mean, it's going to be with 2 games. It's going to be one of those stars and scrubs type lineup. So, looking at this, kind of, and it's what you're comfortable with. You can use the fantasy points allowed by position. You can see the Bucks give up the 3rd most amount of fantasy points to the point guard position. So that means New York Knicks. So the Knicks, is it Brunson? Is it Emmanuel Quickley? Obviously, it's going to be very hard to build around with Emmanuel Quickley or with Brunson on top of Antetokounmpo. So you could look at Quickley here. Game logs, 14. I mean, he hasn't been the best. Again, 2 games, it's going to get a little creative. Jalen Brunson, we look at Brunson. He's got the fantasy points. So are we going to pay up these 2 and that's it? That's a possibility. So then you look at shooting guard. So Milwaukee, 16th in the middle. Milwaukee, Knicks, Phoenix, LA. LA ranks 21st. Phoenix ranks 10th, so probably don't want to take Phoenix. Pretty much. And then the Knicks here ranked 9th. So overall, if we look at this shooting guard wise, it's probably looking at someone maybe, take Phoenix because the Lakers aren't the best against shooting guard. Is it Booker? He's going to be very expensive. Going to be very hard to do that. Eric Gordon is questionable. Now, he's questionable to play, and that could bring us down to a Grayson Allen. Game log wise, he's playing 30-plus minutes. The fantasy points aren't necessarily there. That's something you could build around. So we look at Grayson Allen, who might not be the best player in your mind or a human being, but we could look at that. So small forward. So we move to small forward. Look at the rankings here. You got come down here. You've got the Bucks. So the Bucks, out of all of these teams, aren't very good. Are the worst against the small forward. So that brings us to the Knicks small forward. RJ Barrett, 6,200. Josh Hart, game log wise, playing 30-plus minutes, 30-plus fantasy points there at 5,300. I'm okay with that. Does he play much? 22 minutes, but he's making an effort. But his price is 4,400. They have priced him up. Quentin Grimes, minutes. Yeah, Quentin Grimes is out. So it's basically DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, because I don't know if we can pay up for RJ Barrett and feel comfortable. Yeah, I'd probably go Josh Hart here. Then we move to power forward. Now, again, this is not, you've got to get creative with a lineup like today. So we kind of look through here. The teams that are here, Phoenix Suns. So then we look at that. So the Lakers, power forward. I mean, both of these guys, Davis, he's questionable, but he's probable. Coming off some pretty good games. I mean, can we afford? I mean, that, yeah. If you go with Davis here, it's 3,100. It's game over. Pretty much that's it. And I mean, you can see all the power forwards for the Lakers, all questionable, of course. It's kind of hard to build around when you do something like that. So come down here. Lakers are pretty good against this because it is Anthony Davis, so I'm probably off of there. Knicks are pretty good as well. So basically it's that. It kind of brings it down to the Bucks. So we look at the Knicks players here for power forward. There's not much here, guys. RJ Barrett, 6,200. You're down to 4,400. So today is going to be one of those days where when you build a lineup, it's going to be kind of hard. Be cautious with this. This would be one where personally, I'm not playing much. Probably won't play much at all. But looking at this, where do you guys find your value? So would love to know, after you've watched this video, after you've done a little bit of research, what are the top value plays you find? Now, I've got some on the website. You can go check it out. But I'm very curious where you guys start your research and how you get to it. So how we get to it is we have our simulations, which we've talked about in the past. Everyone has simulations. I get that. So DFS simulation. So what it is, So we have the players, we have their position, FanDuel, DraftKings. We have how many times they've hit X times value. So what you're looking at is if you're playing cash games, which I wouldn't play cash today, you're looking at least 6 to 6 times value, which you can go through and you can see how many times they've X players hit this. So Anthony Davis, simulation-wise, he might be one of the top plays. If you want to pay for him instead of Antetokounmpo, you could go that way. You could go power forward or center. Anthony Davis could be your center. Save $1,400. You just put him there, and then that offers power forward here, $5,200, and you can go through. You could look like a Bobby Portis. You could look at you could go there, and you could build through. But it's great. Obviously, the more green you see, the best. So value consistency. What you're looking for cash, 6.5 times. So what is that? That means 6 times 11 or 10,100. So 66.6, 66.5, 7, 7.5, 8 obviously is there. You can see he's hit 8 times value. So he's hit 8 times value 3.7% of the time this year. Then you come over. The best thing would be to come down to the bottom because it doesn't fit in the screen unless you scroll over. You can open it up down here. Again, these are the best ways that I can do it. If anyone knows any WordPress tables where they're very intuitive, I would absolutely love to know. I just haven't been able to find any. So then that opens this up and you're able to edit this. This is why I like this, because with OneDrive, you can actually edit yourself and you can do some changes that don't affect anybody else. So that's why I kind of like to use it. So just kind of looking at this, you can see the players, how much fantasy point consistency, all the way from 5 fantasy points up to 70, which is 70, 80. We're not going to project 80 plus, but as you can see, Anthony Davis this year, 60, 67, 57, 63. I believe he has an 80 burger down here somewhere, right? Or am I wrong? I'm wrong. I think that's Giannis, or I'm pretty sure I'm thinking, I think it's Jokic. But you see 73 out of Giannis, 75 here, 70. Like, he's hitting 70s. We're not going to project 70 because it's unrealistic. Does it happen a lot? It does, but you're not going to project this. These are basically, our projections are mid projections. They've got ceilings, they've got floors, which we have the ceiling and the floor on. If you go to FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, you go to NBA, you go to player projections, we'll have some ceilings and floors through the last 5 games. So we have a lot of information on the website. If you've not checked it out, go to FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. We are already working on NFL content. The rankings hopefully will be out either today or tomorrow. The videos will be as well. So please give the videos some love and share them on Twitter or X or Facebook or Tumblr or Bumble or Tinder, wherever you say you can share stuff. Share it, help out, would greatly appreciate it. So that's what I've got in this small-ish, icky slate. We'll be back tomorrow, a full slate. Thursday, we have 2 games again. I believe I actually have to travel into the office that day for work, so I do not know if this is where it's going to get a little tricky. I don't know if I'll be able to put much content out. I will try my best to put out cheat sheet and article and stuff like that. But it will be very tight schedule because it's about an hour and a half drive to the office. So that's what I've got in this video, everybody. Good luck on today's slate. Let's bring home some bacon. Peace.